Everybody, have you heard the news? Everybody's gonna be voting blue. Yeah, that's right, you know it's true. Everybody gonna be voting blue. If you know what's good for you, then you better get out and vote blue. Yeah, if you know what's good for you, you better get out and vote blue. No matter what you do.
It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Be a good time, gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen. Shout for the Trucker John street on a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John street. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. The Trucker John live stream is gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest brother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing.
It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen. It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Mic on. Well, good morning. So glad you guys could make it. What'd you guys do? Sleep in or something? All right. Oh man, guys. I can't believe I did what I did. I think Mish, you called it. I was reading the chat. Mish. Yes, I slept. I overslept. And I never do that. I was out Ubering last night. I got in a little late. I guess I didn't get to bed till about 3. But I've done that before. You know, I do that all the time. And I almost always wake up at like, just on my own, like 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock at the latest. You know, I don't even set an alarm. And, or sometimes I do set the alarm. A lot of times I do set an alarm. And I just wake up on my own way before the alarm anyhow. So yeah, all of a sudden I wake up. I'm just sleeping like a baby. You know, I'm just sleeping like I'm just so good, you know. And all of a sudden, I don't know, it was one of those things. I just woke up. And I look at the clock, and it was 9:15, and I'm like, oh my God! And you know how you do like the double take. You're like, is that right? Is it really? And I didn't have my glasses on, but I could look like 9:15. So then I get my glasses on, and I'm like, oh my God! I'm like 9:15. I'm like, and it starts at 9, right? And I'm like, oh my God! So I get up. You know, it takes me a while. Made me some coffee. So I haven't had my morning coffee yet. I just downed a couple pieces of toast just to get a little something in my tummy. Anyhow, good morning, guys. I'm sorry to make you wait like that. I'll just have to make sure I always set an alarm. But I think last night I went straight to bed when I came home, and I just figured out it's no problem. I always wake up, like I said, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, no matter how late I go out, you know. And whew, guys, I was so sorry. Anyhow, thank you guys for your patience. You got 21 folks in here, 25 likes. You guys are awesome. Just let me scroll back here. Yeah, we got you guys waiting. Roxanne was in here waiting patiently. Roxanne said, sigh. I guess we'll just have to talk amongst ourselves. Big Hook was here. Fancy was here. Mish. All you guys were waiting. I went ahead and just, as while we were waiting, I subscribed to Fancy. I subbed you, Fancy. Fancy wants to get a live stream going, so go ahead and sub. It's all sub Fancy, so she can get her live streams going. Oh yeah, Jolie's here. Jolie's on the road with her mom going to the hospital. So thanks for watching, Jolie. Thanks for doing that. You're doing double duty today. I'm just gonna skip on down here because so far Philly 3000 is here. Big Hook, Mad Max, Slava Ukraini, Philly 3000, James Jaramillo. Good to see you. Alvin Stube. Thanks, guys, for your patience on this. Everybody, yeah, I overslept, man. Can't believe it. I cannot believe it. That's a first. Other than maybe one time in the truck I may have overslept or something. But I mean, like I say, I almost always wake up just on my own, like 7, 8 o'clock, you know. So anyhow, at least I got a good sleep. There's that. Hey, let's see, we got Kimchi. Hugger Greeter TK's here. Good to see Teresa and Kimchi. And so I don't know what's going on. I haven't had a chance to even look at any social medias. I haven't looked at any news. As far as I know, the world has come to an end. I haven't stepped outside. It could be a total zombie apocalypse going on out there. I don't even know. So you guys are going to have to fill me in on what's going on today. Yeah, the big crusties. Yeah, big. I probably do. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even want to look. I don't even want to look. I don't even want to even, I'm probably a total meth. I haven't had the time to do myself up. You know what I mean? So, James Williams, I've been getting up at 5 a.m. for over half a century. Good morning, John. Well, all right. Just make me feel like even more like shit, James. Jeannie's here. Good to see Jeannie. You don't like my music is here. Freedom means no alarm clock. Freedom or unemployment. I guess I'm free, but I'm not unemployed. I mean, I was out doing Uber, and stuff like that. Things of this nature. I usually don't go that late. Well, actually, what time did I get home? Because I did Uber a little later. I didn't, but then I charge up afterwards. I only Ubered till about I don't know, 1 or 1:30, and then I went and charged up, and that took about a half an hour, or a little over half an hour. And then by the time I got here and everything, and so it might have been 2:30 or 3 o'clock by the time I went to bed. Me sleeping in is like 7 a.m. for me. All right, guys. All right. Yeah, that's usually when I just wake up on my own. Usually. Anyhow, Paul Mannion's here. Good to see Paul. Tim Farrell, hey, one of our Tims. Multitasking but listening. Okay. Williams here. Mish. Mish has been here from the beginning. One of the originals waiting for me. Mad Mac, we're going to change your name to Trucker John to Slacker John. Oh my God. One time I'm late like this. Andrew Petrie says, morning, folks. Carrie C. Good to see Carrie C. We got here. Jolie finished my coffee, back on the road. Alrighty. James Hermio, Trump's gag order hearing didn't go well for him, I saw. Oh, what happens there? Did they give him some jail time? They should have. They should put that guy in jail, like at least a day for every infraction of the gag order. That'd be quite a few days, right? Because I think he violated it almost every day. James Williams says, interesting events in New Jersey this morning. Okay, well, spill it, man. You don't like my music, says, don't go outside, John. People are cracking each other's heads, opening and feasting on the goo inside. There's blood everywhere, at least according to Fox News. Yeah, the world is just, we're in going to hell in a handbasket, apparently, according to Fox News. Big Hook, were you making up for lost time and money, I guess, John? Well, I was just doing my job. As Ubering. I usually go out in the evenings, and I, go out until 12 midnight or 1 or 1:30, and that's usually when I go. That's my hours. Sometimes I'll go out in the morning, I guess it's the great thing about Uber, it is completely flexible. Sometimes I will go out in the morning and do a few hours, then I'll do a few hours in the evening. Sometimes I won't go out at all, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm not going to go out. I don't feel like it. But, yeah, trying to, make some of that cash out there in the road. Hugger Greeter says, hi, Trucker John. Let's see, I'm just skipping down a little. Paul Mannion is 5:45 here in England. Oh, yes, Paul Mannion over there in jolly old England. I hope all you lovely people are good. We're back at you there, Paul Mannion, in England. So 5:45 p.m. is over there, right? Andrew Petrie saying hello, Jolie. Welcome to the Slacker John show, everybody. Okay, really on the road now. All right, guys. Slacker John, all right. All right, so it is now 9:46 a.m. Pacific time, and the temperature outside is 77 degrees. Guys, I can't tell you how nice and cool. I mean, for the last at least week, over a week, I think, we've been getting daytime highs up around 110. We've been like 108, 109. Yesterday was I guess it was yesterday it was, I think our high was about 100 or a little over 100, maybe 103 or something. I forget what it was, but that was our lowest day. And then today it's only supposed to be 95. So this is a great break, getting a 95-degree day. Right now it's 77. This is the first time I've started the show off being in the 70s in weeks, probably. So this is a great, nice, cool day. We're getting a little break. But the bad news is it's only one day break. Because I was looking yesterday. I didn't look today. I haven't had a chance to look at anything today. But yesterday I was looking at the forecast, and it goes out like 10 days, or whatever. And after today, it's going to start warming up, and we're going to be right back up to those 109, 110, and by the weekend, it's going to be 112, 113. All next week, all through the foreseeable future, it's going to be all 110, 112, 113. So today we get a nice little break. I think we should enjoy it. Let's enjoy this day. It's a 95-degree day and a nice 77 right now, so I wish it could just stay that way forever. Well, not forever, but Yeah, I mean, if we just had 95-degree days instead of these 110-degree days and 113-degree days, and it'd be so much more enjoyable. But anyhow, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. All right, so Paul Mannion says, oh, the sun came out today and it's warm in jolly old England. Mad Mac, that's the perfect weather tip. Hugger Greeter staying in the 90s here in Illinois. Yuck. Mish says 59 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't like my music. Autumn is my favorite season. James Hermier off topic. Justin Timberlake arrested for DWI? Really? JT? Oh, no way. Come on, man. I like Justin Timberlake. That's unfortunate that he would do that. I've always thought Timberlake was a pretty good dude. And I'm not saying just because of this he's not a good dude, but, what is he like? Is he in his 40s now? It's hard to believe these kids that we saw come up from Disney are like in their 40s now, I guess. Because isn't like Britney in her 40s now? And JT and all these guys. He's got family and kids. It's something, you can see someone who's like in their 20s doing that, but anyhow. I hope no one got hurt. I don't know the details. But that's unfortunate. Brandon Wood says, good afternoon, Trucker John. Tucker John. Oh, I don't want to be anything related to Tucker and everyone. So Brandon Woods is here. Good to see Brandon. Alvin Stoop, high humidity in Southern Illinois, 85, and that's a cool day for the week. Maybe we're all getting a little cool day today. I don't know. Or a lot of us are. Big Hook says currently 18 Celsius in Vancouver. Us Americans, we'd have no fucking idea what 18 Celsius is. You might as well say it's a billion zillion. Wow. Uh-oh. I think my grogginess just kicked in. I don't know. Okay, so now you guys are doing Celsius. Mish with the 16 C's. Okay, yeah, it might as well be a billion below zero. I don't know. Andrew Petrie, why even live there? Screw that heat. No thanks. Well, I don't know. It's not that. If it was that way year round, I wouldn't live here. It's usually only this bad like 2 months out of the year. We got it early this year though. Paul Mannion says, Cali, Oxford, to be precise. And double the Celsius and add 32, says Mad Mac. No shit. So 18 and 18 is 36. And then that plus 32 would be like 68 degrees. Well, 68's not too bad. Brandon Woods, I wish it was 64, laughing out loud. It's 90 here. 90. You know, like my music, why did the U.S. never adopt the metric system? There was a big push for that, if you guys recall, especially during the Carter administration. That's one of the things that the right-wingers hate Jimmy Carter for, because he tried to get us to switch to metric system. And, you know, us fucking... I squarely put this on the shoulders of the right-wingers and the Republicans. They're anti-everything. And so as soon as Reagan took over, they dropped all that shit. But there was a big push in the 70s, especially, as I recall. Now, maybe I'm misremembering. My mouth hasn't quite woken up yet. But there was this big push. I remember in high school, we were starting to learn metric, all these metric terms and metric, you know, conversions and everything, whatever. And but as soon as Reagan got in, they just dropped all that shit and said, "Fuck this! We're Americans. We're doing the old fucking whatever they call it, imperial system or whatever the fuck they call it that we do." So that's that, and then it never got started up again. And probably never will. So, but I also like to say never, you know. Mish says because we're lame that way. Kimchi says fact. Archaeologists use metric for prehistoric sites because it is easier and natives had no measuring system. Well, that's a fun little factoid there, Kimchi. Thanks for coming in on that. Bad Max says Americans use a metric system every day. Dollars are in tens. So is the metric system. Yeah. Bad Mac, mid-70s is a heat wave here. Wow. William says the only thing metric is grams. Oh, yeah. Big Hook. Americans are rebels and have to complicate things. Yard, meter, inch, centimeter. Science is all metric. The metrics are set in stone for us. They're set in stone. So anyhow, I did have a couple little things sort of prepared, not prepared, but you know, where I thought we would do sort of a theme of the day type of thing. Let's see if this even works. Oopsies. I think I have to see if I can I, I don't know if you guys can see that now, because I was trying to see if I could squeeze it down, but I don't know. So anyhow, I came up with this. This is sort of a little theme here. It just says tax cuts for the rich, and stripping away regulations is what Republicans do. They crash the economy. They crash the economy. I don't know, the thing keeps disappearing. I don't know what it's doing here. They crash the economy, and then the Democrats have to come in, clean everything up, clean up the mess. Every single time. At least that's the way it's been since I can remember, or at least since Reagan. And then it disappeared. So these little things, I'm just learning how to use some of these little graphics to where it would stay on longer, but I guess it doesn't do that. So anyhow, stop voting for Republicans. There must be a setting where I can make it where it would stay on longer. But anyhow, so that's sort of what I was just looking at things yesterday when I was looking through the socials and looking through things. That's the thing that popped up with me. Again, we've talked about that before. Everyone has talked about that, about how we have these cycles where you go back and forth. The Republicans get in power. They lower taxes on the rich. They strip away as many regulations as they can as far as, you know, pesky environmental regulations or, labor regulations, whatever they can do. They'll strip it away, and they crash economies. They take us into recessions and depressions and everything else like that. And then that kind of wakes up, I guess, enough people to vote some Democrats in. And then the Democrats, you got to spend all their time cleaning up the Republicans' mess. So that's what Bill Clinton had to do. That's what Barack Obama had to do. That's what Joe Biden is doing. So just let's stop electing Republicans because they're not good for us. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. Now let's see. You guys are still talking about metric, but James Hermio, I want to see what James says. James Hermio says Eileen Cannon also rejected Trump's amicus briefing, according to MTN. So, wow, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, Kim, she asked, is she wising up? Maybe she's like got a lot of pressure from the other justices, or maybe from the Supreme Court or something. I don't know, that she might be on very thin ice. She keeps this up. Paul Mannion says the tolerances are smaller and more accurate. We went metric back in 1970, but a lot of people still like to use old terminology, i.e. pounds and ounces. Can still use both. Mad Max says it's very nice in Oregon. Oregon coast is beautiful. Oh yeah, Oregon coast is probably nice and cool up there. Kimchi, we learned metric third grade for no reason. Yeah, I remember learning metric stuff, probably even in grade school too. And but I just remember there was a big push, like when I was in high school, which would be during the Carter administration. There seemed to be a real big push to actually switch over the entire country to metric. And I remember even there were some baseball fields that started putting their, instead of on the outfield fences, they have in feet how far it is from home plate. That number is feet. And I remember I think there were even some stadiums that were starting to put that in meters or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm just looking at your guys' chats here real quick. You guys are talking about weather and things of this nature. And Mad Mac, cool, he must like it here then. In Washington. Yeah, Washington, Oregon. People always ask me, riders that are riding, passengers. They'll ask me, like, if we get into a conversation, I don't tell everybody this, but some people are more talkative than others, and we'll get into some conversations, and I'll tell them, I was a truck driver for like almost 20 years, and I drove all over the place, and then they'll almost always will ask me, like, what was my favorite state, and I don't know if I have a favorite or not, but I always think of the first states that come to mind are I Colorado. I like Colorado a lot. Of course, I like California. That's my home state, and I think California is a beautiful state. But Oregon, Washington, Idaho. I like the Idaho all that much, or the even central part. But of course, Coeur d'Alene and up there, that's beautiful. I like Montana. parts of Montana, I guess, parts of Wyoming is pretty sparse. Wyoming is just a lot of, most of that is a lot of just these hills. Wyoming is pretty harsh, actually. It's a pretty harsh place because it seems like it's always cold there and windy. So I don't know why I even mentioned Wyoming, but Wyoming there are parts of it that are kind of nice. But so basically, I guess the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast and Colorado. And Utah's okay. I mean, Utah, there's some beautiful things of Utah. Don't get me wrong. Utah is nice too. And even though I don't like being surrounded by Mormons, if there's any Mormons in the chat, I apologize if I'm offending you. I'm an ex-Mormon, and I don't have any. Was it love loss? Is that the correct way of saying it? And so I don't really like being surrounded by Mormons. But the state is beautiful. There's lots of beautiful places to live, and the weather's not too bad. I mean, at least it can get cold as shit up there in the wintertime. But Utah's nice. Mormons notwithstanding, but as far as like the East Coast, I've gone up through New England states, and those are very pretty. I guess the only way I can really judge it, a state, is like if I thought it was pretty or not, because you don't really spend enough time there to say, I guess, more than that. I mean, all I can judge what things is I guess the sort of the beauty of the place and how shitty the traffic is or something. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of any of the Gulf states or Texas. Not, politics. The politics are shitty, but also, I don't like all that mugginess, the extreme humidity. Even you folks like in Ohio or Illinois or whatever, your humidity, I think, is nothing compared to the Gulf states. The Gulf states is just, it's like wearing a coat all the time or something. It's just awful. So someone said, why live in the heat? I wouldn't, fuck that or whatever. Well, I say, why live in the humidity? I say, fuck that. I would never live permanently, I don't think, in any of the Gulf states, Gulf region, But there's lots of, great places. I know, like, places are nice and green and lush, that's because of the humidity. So you go into, like, the Ozarks, you go into Tennessee, the Virginias, the Carolinas. They're all green and lush and beautiful, but, it's that way for a reason. It's because of the humidity, probably, and the moisture that they get, so... Those are nice areas, but they don't really come to mind. When someone says, what is your favorite state? I always go to Colorado, Oregon, Washington, and California is still number one. You guys, I don't give a fuck what you guys think about California. A lot of people like to shit talk California. It's still by far the best state because it has everything. It has beaches, it has mountains, it has deserts, if you want to live in a place that has the best weather year round, go to the San Diego area. That's the best weather, hands down. So that's my little spiel on that. You don't like my music says downtown Chicago is a great example of urban renewal. I've never been to downtown Chicago. I've only driven by Chicago, like through the Dan Ryan. But I've never, I'm in an 18-wheeler, so I never was able to get into Chicago, in downtown or whatever. James Jeremio, the Tabernacle is a beautiful place of architecture, but but it exuded a really evil feeling to me. It gave me the creeps. I was just there. I mean, I've been there before, like years and years and years ago when I was a kid and traveling. With my parents, we would travel a lot, and I was there. But just a couple of years ago, I was there. When I was driving a truck, probably less than 2 years ago. Well, about 2 years ago, guys. And I got a hotel right across the street from the Tabernacle. And it had been so long, I forgot what that building was. I saw the building, And I remember I filmed a video and I go, hey, what is that? That looks like some sort of arena, you know? Because in my mind, it had been so long since I'd been to the Tabernacle. I remember walking around the Temple Square and all that stuff. And in my my memory, it was basically, I guess, of the inside where you had the big giant tabernacle. You know, it's the big organ pipes and everything. And so in my mind, I was remembering like a big giant, almost like cathedral type building, but actually from the outside, it looks like this big silver kind of arena, you know. And I'm thinking, oh, that must be some sort of basketball arena or something. And then I went walking around, and as I was walking around, I go, oh, and I was like, oh yeah, that's where the tabernacle thing is. And I went in there, and it is kind of weird and creepy. It is. I gotta agree with you there, James. And the whole place kind of gives you this kind of like, I don't know, Stepford Wives or Handmaid's Tale kind of feel to it. It's just weird and creepy. Fancy says, after reading all the Stephen King books, I've wanted to visit Maine. I've driven through Maine. I've stayed in Maine as a truck driver. I've just stayed in my truck at some truck stops. But it's nice. It's very nice up there. Niche, the Los Angeles food. Roxanne says, love that, Mad Mac. I finally got your joke. I skipped down, so I'm sorry, Mad Mac. I didn't even read your joke. James Jaramillo, our mountain passes here in Colorado are beautiful during spring and autumn. Yeah, you get those. You actually have like the change of colors of, you know, a real fall. That fall look. It gets very beautiful there. Palm Canyon, it gets to 50D plus in northern India. 50D, not 50D. Mad Max says it's one of those jokes that as a fuse it needs to burn down before you get it. And I skipped right over it, Mad Mac. I apologize. Hugger Gritter says San Diego, California does have beautiful temps. I looked it up. My favorite temp is the 70s. San Diego, if you love the 70s, San Diego's your place, man. Paul Mannion, as long as it's got a bar, I'll be all right. Oh yeah, there's bars everywhere here. I mean, all over the U.S. Roxanne Armfield says, love the Trail Ridge Road, James Jaramillo. The Real Bill P is here. I've been to every state and 2 territories. By far, the most beautiful state is West Virginia. It is a hidden gem that is trash talked and made fun of. West Virginia is almost heaven. I've been through West Virginia, and yeah, like I was saying, that's when I said the Virginias, I was talking about both of them. Very beautiful, green, lush areas. I guess I just don't know enough about it other than driving through. More than that there is green and lush. And of course, you know, we have. Oops, I forgot to change my phone settings and a stupid phone call came in. Of course, that's where we have the beautiful Joe Manchin, right, from West Virginia. So I guess that's why West Virginia gets shit talked. But if he's going to leave, that's going to probably flip to a Republican seat. So as much as we don't like Joe Manchin, him not running is probably going to lose us a seat. Amy Reentz says, my husband, who is a PhD, studies literary hoaxes, and the Book of Mormon has many of the hallmarks. Yeah, total hoax. Big Mook. The Big Canuck says, Mormon sounds like morons, so they changed it to Latter-day Saints. Sorry, don't buy the religion. Well, they've always been known as Latter-day Saints. Mormons was actually an afterthought. They were always LDS. They were always the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. And then they just shortened it to Mormons because of the Book of Mormon. Big Hook. A passport can free the mind and soul of a lot of nonsense. Heavy, man. That's heavy. Wow. Whoa. That's what my response should be. Whoa, dude. Fancy says Virginia is for lovers. That's all I know. It's on the license plates, right? So can't be wrong. Yeah, good morning, Amy Rentz. If I didn't say good morning to Amy Rentz. James Jaramillo says, Roxanne Armfield, Wolf Creek Pass is awesome. Those times of year, an absolute nightmare to drive over in the winter. We were lucky to slide into the side of the mountain, then off the cliff. Wow. Wolf Creek Pass, I've gone down that. That is where I saw I don't know if I think I've told this story before. I'm sure I have told this story. This is where I saw that flatbed go by me. We were going down. That grade is it's like a 20-mile grade, steep downhill grade, and where you got to downshift and just use your gears, instead of your brakes. You got to just stay in lower gear. And all of a sudden, this flatbed goes by me. And he had been behind me for a long time. I could saw him in my mirror. And all of a sudden, I guess he'd been riding his brakes, and he lost his brakes. And he went around me, and I could smell the brakes. I go, oh shit, this guy lost his brakes. And then I see the sign. It says runaway ramp, like 2 miles or whatever it was, or a mile. And I'm like, oh good, thank God, there's a runaway ramp. This guy can get in the ramp. So I'm watching him, because he goes around me, gets in front of me, and he's obviously got no brakes. And then the ramp comes along, and he just went right past the ramp. He just blew past the ramp. And that was the last ramp, because they have a few of them on this grade. And I was like, oh my God, what did he do? He just passed the ramp. Because right past that ramp, there's a short little distance, maybe a quarter of a mile or so, and then there's literally a hairpin curve. And they do have sort of a big concrete wall on that curve, but the rate that he was going, he was either gonna smash straight into that wall, or he might have just broke right through it. I'm not sure how strong that wall was. It looked pretty strong, but he went right past the ramp, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? And so there's the ramp, and then there's kind of a slight little curve to the left, and it kind of goes back to the right a little bit. And then you go into that hairpin turn. And so as soon as he passed the ramp, and he went around there was that little curve that kind of goes to the right, that's when all of a sudden he just flipped. He just flipped right over, boom, boom, and then there was a guardrail. He went right over the guardrail, and then boom, right over the side. And now fortunately, that's not like a 200-foot drop off. It was like probably a 30 or 40 foot kind of drop off, because that's where the road, then that highway, like I said, it was a hairpin turn, and then on the other side is the highway coming back for that's like a switchback, right? And so the truck, he flips, he goes over the rail and just disappears, because there's trees and bushes. And so I come up on it, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, this guy is dead or whatever. So I just jumped out of the truck. And by the time I got there, there's some other cars that stopped. There was 2 other people. They were already ahead of me. They jumped down. I jumped down. We ran down to the guy. And the whole time I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm just going to see a bloody pulp of a mess of a person. But we get there, and the guy was he was just sitting up he was sitting down, but he was sitting up on the ground out of the truck. The truck was all mangled in the trees. And he looked perfectly fine. And this almost makes me want to believe in God, right? Because I've had this situation happen before, where at these scenes, I have no first aid training. I'm completely useless. I don't even know why I ran down there. What was I going to do? But I ran down there. But the other 2 people that were ahead of me, one was an off-duty EMT. I forget if he was fire department or EMT, but he had aid training for sure. Whatever. I think he might have been EMT. And the other one was a girl, a young lady, and she had. I kind of found this all the details kind of afterwards, but she was a army medic who had, she just gotten out of the army, but she was an army medic. So she had an army medic and an off-duty EMT, and they were there, and they immediately they were telling him, okay, just lay down, don't move. They're like checking his blood pressure. They're kind of like feeling him, trying to find if there's any broken bones or whatever. I don't know, whatever they were doing, and they're doing all this medical stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, so why didn't you hit the ramp? I go, you passed me, and I knew your brakes were out, and I saw you. Why did you blow past the ramp? And he's like, I didn't know what to do. He was a young guy. He was like in his 20s, like early or mid 20s. And as we were talking, he said he just started driving like a week ago. And he had a flatbed and had like a load of bricks, like red bricks that were all palletized and everything. And I was just like, and then, I didn't want to get into the guy's shit because I knew he was probably in shock and he'd just been through a traumatic thing. So, but in my mind, I'm thinking, what the fuck? How do you not know that if your brakes are gone and you're going down a steep grade and you've already passed 2 or 3 those emergency ramps, those runaway ramps, you've already passed, because they have them, like I said, they've got a whole bunch of them on that, because it's a long grade, downhill grade. How could you pass it? Could you not know that that's where you're supposed to go? That's for trucks when they lose their brakes. Those runaway ramps. How do you not know that? I don't care if you are a brand new driver. That should be what you go to truck driving school for. That's how you get your CDL. You have to know that shit. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't say all that because, like I said, the guy was obviously, even though he looked completely fine, you don't know if there's internal injuries or whatever. So I just go, wow, man. So I go, yeah, I was really surprised. I thought you were gonna hit that ramp, and then you missed it. And then he goes, yeah, I didn't know what to do, and I just this is like my first week, driving and stuff. I was like, oh wow. And then I'm just like, well, I'm glad you're okay. You look okay. And he's like, yeah, I feel okay, But he was definitely kind of in shock. So then I walked back up to my truck. By the time I walked back up, there was a whole bunch of cars up there. And then there was a couple other truck drivers. Because there was a truck driver that was just ahead of him. And he saw, in his mirror, he saw this truck kind of barreling down on him. And he was like, and he was worried that he was going to get like rear-ended or something. And then he saw the whole thing happen in his rearview mirror. He saw the truck roll over. So I was up there talking to him, and we were kind of comparing notes and stuff. But yeah, that Wolf Creek Pass, steep grades, and I saw that guy do that, and I thought he was going to be dead and mangled, but he was apparently buckled up, I guess, and that saved him. And fortunately, it wasn't a real long fall. It was like, I say, like 30 feet or something of this, going over this embankment, and it was full of trees, like pine trees and shit that broke the fall of the truck. It broke the truck, but it broke the fall of it, so he was able to, they ended up, getting an ambulance. They put him on a stretcher and took him to the hospital. But then I found out later that he was fine, so. Anyhow, that's my little Wolf Creek Pass story. Hey, Nick Rich is here. John, have you ever been in a wreck? I have, and I've talked about that before. I've been in a couple of them. Paul Mannion, Average White Band from Scotland. Oh, I love the Average White Band. Pick up the pieces. Fancy says, I was here plucking my brain, but I couldn't remember. Well, maybe you should stop plucking your brain. Doesn't sound healthy. You know, like my music says, you are supposed to use the parking brake when the brakes go out. Easier said than done. Well, you're supposed to use the runaway ramp if you have no brakes. Paul Mannion says the lead singer of of AVB, where's they killed? Oh, here we are back on the kilts again. The Real P says, Auray is my favorite place to visit. Where's Auray? Auray. I never heard of Auray. Fancy says they wear furry panties under those skirts. James Haramiro, I wonder if he still drives trucks. Just going into the side scared the fuck out of me. Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling that he probably did. I mean, I don't know, to do that. I don't know. Who knows? Mish says I'm still wondering about the magic underwear. What magic underwear? I have not heard of the magic underwear. Big Hook. In West Vancouver, we have an area where trucks are not allowed to exit steep downhill. A truck lost brakes and destroyed almost 50 cars all the way to the bottom. Well, see, they had that happened in. So the thing that happened with the story I told was almost the same exact story that happened on, on I-70, coming out of Denver, where it was a new driver. He lost his brakes. He didn't use the runaway ramps, and he ended up plowing into a bunch of people, and he killed a few people. He actually, the guy, the one up by Denver there, he actually killed a bunch of people. And I remember people, and he got a pretty, I guess he got a pretty harsh sentence. I was thinking the sentence he got wasn't even harsh enough. He should have got more. And people were starting to say, oh, he's a new driver, and he didn't know what he's doing. Well, bull fucking shit. You should know what a goddamn runaway ramp is for. There's no excuse for that. Really no excuse. I don't give a fuck if you're a rookie driver. They tell you all about runaway ramps when you go through truck driving school. You see them all the time, and it's great. If you can't figure out how to get your truck into a runaway ramp, you have no business being on the road in an 18-wheeler. So I have no real sympathy for this one guy, the guy up in I-70 there, who killed, I think, 2 or 3 people and injured a whole bunch of others. And he ended up, I forget what the sentence was. I think it might have been 10 or 15 years. I was thinking it should have been even longer. It should have been like life. And other people were saying that he shouldn't have got any jail time at all, which is bullshit. These are heavy machinery. You got to know your shit. And if you don't know enough to fucking go into a runaway ramp, then you have no business being behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. None whatsoever. That's my... Oh, you're talking about Mormons. Oh, yeah, the magic underwear. Oh, yeah. I never did get into that, fortunately. I never got to that stage of it. I remember... basically, it's like white... it's like long underwear, basically. Yeah, the Mormons are so fucking weird. I hate to bash people's religions, but I feel like since I was one, I kind of have the right to do it. Hey, Jolie says Trucker John has channel memberships, super chats. You can support the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing, or buy me a coffee. Thank you for that reminder, Jolie. And I am going to try to do more stuff for the members, special members stuff. I know I've been remiss on that. Maybe do some special members-only live streams. Maybe, I don't know how to do emojis. I'm going to try to do something for you guys. Because I do appreciate you. We got like 45 members. It's awesome. You guys are awesome. So make sure that you share the show. Hit that share button and then maybe get more members. But yeah, I got some things in the works and things I'm thinking about doing for the members. Fancy, are they furry and leathery or perhaps G-stringish or set? If you're talking about the magic Mormon underwear, it's, from what I saw, it's basically, it's just, because they used to have like, how they have like Bible bookstores and stuff like that? They actually have like little catalogs, I think, if I remember correctly, where you could order stuff. And it just looked like, to me, it looked like long underwear, but I think they do put something in it to make it special, you know, extra special, like some sort of, I don't know, something in the weaving of it or something. James Armino, if you're going to get behind the wheel of something that big, you better know what the fuck you're doing. Yeah, exactly. It's to say you don't know what a runaway ramp is for. That's like saying that you don't know what an off ramp is for, or whatever. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. James Williams says hard braking produces enough heat to melt the surface of the brake shoe material. The emergency brakes doesn't work then either. The emergency brake is designed for your hydraulic brakes. Yeah, that's why I never heard of that using the emergency brake either. Yeah, I've seen guys coming down from. If you guys are familiar with the Grapevine in California on I-5, there's a steep grade. It's called the Grapevine. It's I think it's like 12 miles long, and it's a really steep, you know, at least 6% grade or whatever it is. And trucks are always losing their brakes there. And I've actually, I think more than once, seen the rear trailer tandems on fire. I mean, actually in full flames. I've seen that, well, on the Grapevine maybe only once, but I think I've seen that in other places around the country, where the I kind of saw the aftermath. You saw trucks pulled over the side, and you can see like the whole back of their trailer had burned up because the brakes burned up. But I was actually on the Grapevine coming up on this truck, and his back tandems were completely engulfed in flames, and the driver was just going, and then I was able to get up around him because I was on my CB, and I'm like, hey driver, you know, got your ears on, I was trying to identify it. Hey driver, look in your mirror. You got your tires are on fire, your tandems are on fire. But the guy never heard me. So I got alongside of him, and I had my windows rolled down, and I'm like looking at him, and he was just driving, like not a care in the world. And I'm going like this. Your tires are on fire. Check your mirror. Check your fucking mirror. And finally, I got his attention. He's like, he looks over and he's like, and then you can see he looked in the mirror and he was like, you know, I'm surprised he had any brakes. I don't know what he was doing. And then he pulled over, and then I just kept going. But it was amazing to me. How that's another thing. How could you drive that long? When I was driving, I look in my mirrors. I'm always looking in my mirrors. I'm always like, I look forward. I'm looking at the side mirror, the right side mirror. Like I look forward, drive a little bit, and I'm always like this when I'm driving. I'm in the mirrors. Look straight ahead, mirror, straight ahead, mirror. You know, that's how I was. And this guy was just driving down the Grapevine, having a good old time, listening to the radio or whatever he was doing. Back tandems were completely engulfed in flames. It was going to be any second now when he was going to lose. He might have been really, I don't know if he was light, because why would he be burning his brakes up if he was light? I don't know, but he burned his brakes up, and he didn't know that he didn't have any brakes. I guess he might have been geared down fine. I don't know but the thing was completely on fire, and just crazy. It's crazy shit, man. So anyhow, we got the Real Bill P says greetings. Fancy says my car has been covered in ash for the past couple of days. Yeah, I don't know where you're at. I always forget where you're at, Fancy, but I know in California there's been a lot of fires going on. Joy Fox is here. For cars but not ideal. I lost my brakes. Yeah, cars are completely different than 18-wheelers. Yeah, you can't use your park brake for an 18-wheeler. Hey, look at there. Nick Rich gifted a Trucker John membership. Thank you, Nick Rich. So that's so great. And Paul Mannion got it over there in England, in jolly old England. So thank you so much, Nick Rich. That's awesome for that membership, for gifting that. Mad Mac, you constantly check your mirrors, for fuck's sake. Exactly. Like I said, I was in my mirror just as much as I was looking ahead. Like I would look ahead. Of course, you got to look ahead, right? You got to look down the road, see what's happening down the road. Make sure there's not a bunch of cars stopped in front of you, you know? But you got to be in your mirrors. You check your mirror, you check the other mirror, you look ahead for a little bit, you look your mirrors. That's constantly my deal when I'm driving a big rig, especially. But even when I'm driving a car, I'm like this, I'm in my mirrors, you know. Mish says, mirror check, mirror check, mirror check. James says, I always look in my mirrors, more in my mirrors than I look forward. Yeah, I think so. Paul Mannion, there's a tartan for everyone. Tartan. Mish is in Hollywood. Oh yeah, so or Fancy's in Hollywood. I don't know why I said Mish. Why did I say Mish? Fancy's in Hollywood. Yeah, so I've been seeing some news. Yeah, all these fires. Even my old neck of the woods, Palmdale, had a big fire going. Big Hook says when you drive, you should have 360-degree awareness. Good drivers know this, and they stay out of people's blind spots in traffic. Yep. Hey, the real Bill P has been a member for 2 months. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, real Bill P. Oh yeah, 60 days on the road, and I'm gonna make it. Yeah, there you go. 60 days on the road. You're a driver for 60 days. Thank you, real Bill P, for being a member. Like I said, I'm gonna try to come up with some things for members only type of stuff. I used to have a members only. You guys remember those members only jackets from like the 70s? I used to have one. It was nice. I had a black one, a nice black one. And I obviously don't have it now. But I'm kind of surprised because I do save some. There are certain things I do save. I wish I would have saved that jacket. It probably wouldn't fit me now. Who am I kidding? You know, I was like $180 back then or whatever. So, but I'm almost thinking about going online and find a members only jacket. And then if I do a members only live stream, I can wear my members only jacket. So, but yeah, I'm trying to get something for you guys. Fancy, I'm not good with those side mirrors. Well, you know, you got to look at them. You got to check out your what's around you. Nick Rich, in an hour and no Tough Cookie. Well, Tough Cookie might be sleeping still. I got to say. Tough Cookie might still be snoring away somewhere. Mad Mac pronounced tartan. Excuse me, tartan. Okay, tartan. I'm going to say it all day now, tartan. Mish says, Big Cookbook, that applies to your electric boat too. Ooh, the electric boat. Yeah, members only jacket. Yes, you guys remember the members only jacket, right? You guys remember that? I had a really nice one. Mad Mac, better than 30 days in the hole. 30 days in the hole. Let's see here. James Hermio, that was the brand name on the jacket. Yeah, it said members only. Right here somewhere. You don't remember those? They were as big as Angel Flight's bell bottoms, I think, or whatever. Slacker Cookie, he says, yeah, him and the purple beard guy, they're probably both snoring away somewhere. Roxanne Arfield says, my husband loved his members only jacket. I thought they were cool. Mad Max says, ton, like a heavy weight. Okay, it's still not saying it right, huh? Tartan. Tartan. I kind of like Tartan, but you know, Tartan. What was Tartan? Is that a city or something? What, I forget how we even got on that subject. Tartan. Is that where you live? I don't know. James Ferrero says black tag, white letters. Mad Mac, only the cool dudes wore members only jackets. Yeah, absolutely. All us cool dudes. Or so we thought. Be so glad some things aren't in fashion anymore. It's not like, well, I don't know. I mean, what's wrong with a members only jacket? I don't. There are some things in fashion that don't hold up well over time, but I think a members only jacket would look completely nice today. Fancy says $98 at Amazon for members only jackets. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, Fancy. You can they still have them. Well, I think we know what my next purchase of Amazon is going to be. Kimchi says my husband had a members only jacket and I had parachute pants too. But I didn't get the really big, super big parachute pants. I didn't like those. I had my parachute pants were a little bit more, almost like, to me they look more like something an Air Force pilot would wear. Because I had green ones. They were like green, they looked like Air Force. And they had a billion pockets and zippers all over, and I loved them. And you could actually unzip the legs and make them into shorts. So I don't know if those were actually parachute pants, because they weren't big, like fluffy. I didn't like those big fluffy parachute pants. I never really went for that. The ones I had might not have technically been parachute pants, but they were in the same era. I love the zippers and the pockets, and you could make them into shorts by just unzipping the leg. That was awesome. But like I said, those might not have been actually parachute pants, because they weren't all fluffy like that or whatever. I'm trying to think if I ever had. I did kind of have parachute pants, but not real big fluffy ones. I had the ones that came out later that were more like, almost like, I ended up wearing them. I think I still have them. They were more like pajamas. They were almost like sweatpants pajamas or something. But you could wear them around town. It wasn't like, you know how people wear their pajamas to Walmart? It wasn't like that. These were actually more like athletic type of things, because I was a former athlete. Mad Mac, blimey, laughing out loud. Tartan is a special plaid that your family has. All right, plaid. You mean like a Tesla? He's going to hate me now for sure. Mad Mac's going to really hate me now. Big Hook, I hate those backup cameras people back up right on your bumper, making it harder to exit. They are useful in parking garages, but not in on-street parking where you need room to get into traffic. And that's the backup camera's fault? I don't know. James Hermino Kimchi, damn, those were middle school days. Real Bill P, members only is the exclusive apparel of former president of Iran. Oh, wow. Did he wear those? Was that, what's his face? Kimchi said he had the loose wrap pants too. Mr. Spock is here. Hey, live long and prosper. Mr. Spock. Everyone, a tartan is a big white kangaroo creature. Oh, yeah. That Luke Skywalker rode around in Star Wars. The one that is that like the one or I guess it was it Han Solo who took the lightsaber and sliced his guts open and put Luke in there so he wouldn't freeze to death? I guess that might have been the only time that Han Solo ever wielded a lightsaber. Right? The Real Bill P says, I have parachuted out of planes, helicopters, and off of the New River Gorge Bridge in West Virginia. Well, there you go. Real Bill P. Airborne. James Hermino, Mr. Spock. I think those were tauntauns. Kim Chi says John was a metrosexual before it had a name. Okay, no, now Kim Chi. He was a vain man. Oh, you're talking about your John. Okay, I thought you were talking about me. Okay. All right. Let's see. Good morning, Mr. Spock. Kimchi, yes, fancy things. Forgot his name. Hammer time pants. Yeah, I never had those big MC Hammer type of parachute pants. A little too clownish for my liking. Kimchi says the ton is Bridgerton. Okay. Mad Max says, you talking about MC Hammer pants? I believe they were. Paul Mannion says, it's a cloth. Don't forget your sporins. Oh, crikey. Forgot my sporins. Amy Reen says, that's a tauntaun. A tauntaun. A tauntaun. The Real Bill P, not airborne, pararescue. Oh, okay. Pararescue. That sounds pretty cool, too. That sounds pretty cool. Pararescue. Let's see. Nick Rich, you can't touch this. Dun, 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 dun. Roxanne Arfield, I think you are right, Amy. Real Bill P says, parachute material doesn't let your private parts breathe. And that could be an issue. Could get a little moist down there. A little sweaty, if you know what I mean. Let's see. Mad Max, Sporon is a man purse. Oh, we talked about man purses last week. Or last show, remember? We're going full circle here, aren't we? Paul Mannion says, at the Real Bill Play, very adventurous. Done a lot of stuff like that in the past. Kimchi says, the late 80s and 90s were my party days in college. Gonna make you sweat, baby. James Jaramillo says, Mad Mac, one of my best friend's brother's crew all wore pants like that. My sister nicknamed them the Pajama Posse. And damn, did it stick. That's funny. Nick Rich, I can't unpicture that. Big Cook says, ton in America measures is 2,000 pounds, but a metric ton is 1,000 kilograms, or the equivalent of 2,240 pounds. Thank you, Big Cook, for these factoids. Hey, Vicky Gingras is here. Vicky Gingras. Good afternoon, folk. Hi, TJ. That's me. Paul Manning says, correct. It is 17th century bum bag. James Williams, most of my clothes are made from hemp these days. Oh, I've heard they make very good, durable clothes, I guess. Are they durable? Everyone's saying hi to Vicky, looks like. Ruble P. Kimchi, my college days as a student were in the mid-70s. I'm an old guy now. Me too. I'm an old guy. I'm an old guy too. Let me see. I did have a little thing I was going to... Oh. I think this is where, if earlier I had my little thing about where I had this going up about tax cuts for the rich, you know, that's what Republicans are all about. Tax cuts for the rich, giving away regulations. That's what Republicans do, right? And I think what prompted me to think about that was this video here. And we can play this video. Let's see what happens.
All people that have a lot of money. I know 20 of you, and you're rich as hell. We're going to give you tax cuts. We're going to pay off our debt.
Yeah, there it is. That's the Donald Trump I know, man. Your typical fucking Republican that does only one thing: tax cuts for the ultra rich to keep we the people down. He's giving tax cuts to corporations that do not give you raises, do not give you insurance, do not give you pensions. Listen, man, we're not liberals, we're not libtards, we're not snowflakes. We are just hardworking Americans that think and believe, being in the greatest country that ever lived, we deserve maybe a raise. Really? You don't? We deserve some insurance? I don't know. Instead of the boss making $200 million, could he make $197 million and then give the people what? Insurance, a pension, an annuity, a little bit of dignity, maybe some retirement. So this is the Republican agenda. And yes, Donald Trump is a Republican. I'm so tired of hearing, well, he's not a politician. Well, you know, yeah, he fucking is, because he's running for president. He's not out there trying to do great things for the world on his own. He's running for office, so he is a politician. Yes, he is a politician, and he's a Republican one. And he does what every Republican does. Squeeze the little guy, give tax cuts for the ultra-rich, so that in return, they pay out all these Republicans. So they're all bought and paid for because Donald Trump and every Republican allows that to happen. He didn't come in and
Okay, I don't know what happened to the sound, but for the rest of that, yeah, I just want to play that because that was sort of what prompted my little thing I had up there. And just a constant reminder, stop voting for Republicans, people. I know most of the people in this chat probably don't, but if we want to, shrink the wage gaps, we want to build a stronger middle class, stop giving all the breaks to the multimillionaires and billionaires and billion-dollar companies, then we need to stop voting for Republicans. Please, I just beg everyone, stop voting for Republicans. Now back to the chat. Midas Kevin's here. Hey, Midas Kevin Anderson. Good to see Midas Kevin joining in here. What else we got? Kimchi, Roxanne, as my dad used to say, every day above ground is a good day. That it is. Paul Mannion, Kimchi, I'm 62 and my niece bought me a t-shirt with "It feels weird to be the same age as old people" on it. That's a good one. Kimchi 56 just showing I am an ally for Pride Month. There you go. Luriba P, money never trickles down, damn it. Yeah, all that trickle down bullshit is bullshit. So please, don't vote for Republicans anymore. Big Hook, it's 50 years of brainwashing from right-wing media. Midas Kevin says, 2 more days till the biggest day in my life. Midas Kevin, what's going on in 2 days? Tell us what's going on. Inquiring minds want to know. Kimchi says, you getting married, Kevin? That was my first thought. But I didn't want to, assume or whatever. Midas Kevin says, sup, Mac. Fancy says, do tell Kevin. Yeah, we all want to know now. You can't just drop that on us and not want us to know. Midas Kevin, Thursday I turned 46. Kimchi, you led me on, Kevin. So that's the biggest day of your life. And then the day after that would be the biggest day. And the day after that's the biggest day. The Rubik P says, my grandmother died in 1995. She famously said, the only thing that trickles down is pee. Rest in peace, Grandma. Yeah, and I remember hearing all through the 80s about trickle down in economics, trickle down this, trickle down that. And I remember people saying, hey, don't piss on me and then try to tell me it's raining. Dick Chris, happy birthday, Kevin. Yeah, happy birthday. Happy early birthday to you. So in 2 days, we should be on the air on Thursday. So we can wish you a happy birthday then, too. James Jaramillo, Kevin Mattis Anderson, still 6 older than you. Kimchi says, Bill, your granny was a badass. And Mish says, smart grandma. But yeah, that trickle down shit don't work, man. Don't piss on me and try to tell me it's raining. I remember we used to say that all the time back in the 80s. All the time, man. All the stinking time. Oh yeah, the 80s. I remember the 80s. So great. That's when I was just a young, fresh cookie, fresh out of the oven. And yeah, the 80s, they would be like, yeah, man, these were just voodoo economics. You're going to be this great. It's great. And then I got old and crusty and it still wasn't great. So to that, I just got to say, hey, fuck you, Ronald Reagan. Fuck all you assholes. This fucking trickle-down shit don't work. It's bullshit. It made me into an old, tough, crusty cookie. So, fuck trickle down. All right, now, I agree, tough cookie, but you don't have to be so harsh. All right, those were tough times, but we made it through. We got Bill Clinton in there. Had a great growth spurt. Jobs, Silicon Valley, all that stuff. So, but then, yeah. Then the Supreme Court decided that George W. Bush should be the next president in 2000, and that kind of sucked. So I will say, yeah, that did suck. Totally. Got us into these long-last wars, and we were hemorrhaging jobs so much towards the last few years of the W administration. Yeah, it's not tough cookie. You're making me remember all these bad times. But then we got Obama. And Obama, man, really turned things around, got us out of a recession. And man, we were just making jobs left and right. And things were going good. And then, God dang it, gosh darn it, somehow we got fucking, oh, excuse my French, the orange turd in there, and he got in and just totally fucked everything up. Oh, excuse my French again. I think Tough Cookie is kind of wearing off on me a little bit too much. So he totally screwed up our economy, crashed it. And then another Democrat comes in, Joe Biden, looking that turns things around. I'm sensing a pattern here, guys. Guys, I'm sensing a pattern here. When Republicans are in office, things get really kind of horrible and terrible, especially economically. And then when we get Democrats, things get better. So I'm just saying, for me, I'm going to vote Democrats. I hope you guys vote Democrat. I think that's the way to go. Because just kind of basing it on these last, 5 or 6 administrations, it's like, I sense a pattern here. I don't know, maybe I'm seeing the wrong thing. I don't know, but I see a pattern here. When Republicans are in office, the economy gets really kind of crappy. Excuse my French. And when Democrats are in office, they spend their first administrations cleaning up the Republicans. If they get a second administration, a second term, then we can actually have some growth. Think about Biden, though, is he's able to do this all in his first administration. I mean, really turned us around. And if we get 4 more years of Biden, just think of that continued growth all around, all the way around, with jobs and wages, inflation coming down, GDP up, everything. That's why, guys, we got to vote for Joe and Kamala, I'm sorry. Excuse me again. We got to stop voting for Republicans. That's all I got to say. That's the theme of the day. That is the theme of the day, I've been told by Trucker John. The theme of the day is stop voting for Republicans. Because they fuck everything up. Excuse my French. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck my French. Or whatever. Just stop voting for Republicans. There. Those two guys said it better than I could say it. So thank you, Tough Cookie and Paul, the Purple Beard guy, for making your appearance. And I think driving home the point that Republicans screw everything up. They're really only there, the Republican Party is really only in existence to work on behalf of the top 1/10 of 1%. And everything else they do is just to try to pander or to get votes, create these issues just to gin up the teabaggers and the maggots, and the Reaganites, or whatever, So we got to stop doing that. Let's get a good run of Democratic administrations and Congresses. And we will see great, great continued growth economically, every way, man. Kevin Midas Anderson, oh, John, get this today. MTG did more infighting saying, well, how come when we Republicans pass something, it never gets passed? When do they pass anything that doesn't get passed? If it didn't get passed, it didn't get passed. She's a moron. She's a fucking moron. Come on, Georgia. Come on. You're better than this. Stop sending us fucking morons like MTG. Please. Please. Mish is fluent in French. Philly 3000, we won't have to worry about anything if the Earth's core keeps slowing down. Is it slowing down? Oof. Paul Mannion says that Robert Perez, have you got a bit of Irish in you? Robert Perez. Hello, Robert Perez. Oh, good morning from El Cajon, God's country, to every Democratic voter. Hey, Robert, good to see you. And yeah, El Cajon is nice, very nice area. That, when I say San Diego, I guess I would count El Cajon. That whole San Diego area, as far as because we were talking about weather earlier in the show, I think it's probably consistently over a 365-day period is consistently probably the best weather in the country. Kimchi says that, Bill, I believe it. What'd Bill say? Now I have to go find out what Bill said. Well, about the mountains normally hot. We hardly ever see temps above the mid-80s, and that is in August. And then I guess Kimchi believed it. The difference between the Blue Ridge and the Tidewater is at least 10 degrees. It is miserably humid in the DC swamp. Getting used to it, I guess. Yeah, I hate that. I hate the humidity. I would take dry heat over humid heat almost any day of the week. Mad Max says, Republicans suck! Certainly the Republican Party and its elected representatives. Fancy says, I'd like to go down there to San Diego to see the ships. Yeah, they have a big harbor there. They have a big naval presence there and everything. Robert Perez, El Cajon is meth users' paradise. I think I need to move to Chula Vista. It's closer to the beach. A little more expensive over there, but yeah, if you can afford it, if you can swing it, go for it. Mr. Spock says, was that Scotty Kilmer? I don't know. Who's Scotty Kilmer? That name sounds familiar. Paul Mannion says, but let me say our Democrats are not perfect, but are infinitely better than what Putin and Trump are offering. Top of the morning to you. I don't know about your Democrats, you're talking about in England or whatever, but in our Democrats in America, they're not perfect either. And I don't expect perfection because there is no such thing as perfection. There really isn't. And you can't expect, anyone to be perfect. All you can expect is that, I think, especially when we're talking about politics and politicians, is people to be as good as they can be. To be honest and forthright, and have, to put in a good effort to do the right thing, to do the good things and the right things. There's not going to be perfection. Everyone has their foibles and flaws, and that's just the way it goes. But overall, the Democrats are far, far better than the Republicans. The Republicans, what I'm seeing, are really despicable. really, really despicable. At the end of the day, even if you find one you think is reasonable, at the end of the day, they're still anti-choice. You know, they're still anti everything that we stand for as Democrats. They are against it. Even a Liz Cheney, for the most part, or an Adam Kinzinger. Okay, they stood up to Trump because they didn't like Trump. They thought what he did was wrong, and I'll give them credit for that. But other than that, they're against everything else that I believe in, pretty much. Hey, Suzanne Forsepi is here. Good to see you. Good to see Suzanne popping in. Robert Perez, that's the problem. I can't afford to move closer to the ocean. I'm so sad. Yeah, it sucks. All the good places are out of touch. That's why I've lived in the desert my whole life, because I couldn't afford. If I could afford to live at the beach, I would live at the beach. And then number 2 would be the mountains. And those are expensive too. And so I've always lived out in the desert because it's cheap. Because I can't afford it anywhere else. Suzanne says kimchi used a lot of soap and water and take cool baths and showers. Yeah, you got to stay cool somehow, huh? Try to beat that heat. Gino Maynard is here, I guess. I missed Gino, but Gino's here. Thanks for coming into the chat. We're just shooting the shit today. It's just a shoot the shit day. So thanks everybody for being here. We got 31 watches, 55 thumbs ups. Make sure we like, subscribe, and share. Let's share the show. We're up to 1,860 something subscribers. And every time I see that number, I'm just like amazed because I remember just starting the show off. I think I had a couple hundred subscribers, I think, or maybe 180 or something like that. Because I just over the years, it's been on so long, I got some subscribers. But now, in a short period of time, in these last like 2 years or so, 2.5 years, we've grown up to 1,860. And it's because of folks like you that watch the show and you share it and you put it out there. And just helping us grow. So I really do appreciate it. I'm hoping that to do more stuff, once I get my kind of schedules worked out here and maybe do some more, remote, not so much in the studio here, my studio. It's just like a bedroom, but I call it a studio. Maybe do some more, Vegas strip walks, or maybe I'm still thinking about Red Rock Canyon, see if I can do something out there. Maybe we'll get on that. I know I haven't seen, was it Seha? I haven't seen Seha in a long time, but Seha really wanted me to do a Fremont Street live stream, and so I'm still going to try to do that. Big Cook. The Republicans are the subtraction. What can I say? Subtraction. Rights and freedoms. Yeah, they want to take us back, not to the 1950s, they want to take us back to the 1850s. The good old days, before the Civil War, when you could own black people. That's what they want to take us back to. Vicky Gingras says, you guys need to move to Western Michigan, 200 miles of beach, low prices. And some pretty harsh winters, I hear. But hey, you just make sure you got a good supply of firewood, I guess, and a good heater. And just stay in and watch Netflix or whatever until the spring. Fancy, I need 50 before they let me live stream. I have 7. Hey, yeah, that's right. I subbed Fancy today. There's a link back in the chat here. If you can go over there and you can give Fancy a like, or a sub, because Fancy is really just chomping at the bit here, wants to go live. So if you can help her out, that'd be great. Paul Mannion says the Magaloons are dragging us U.S. policies through the mud. I mean, some will martyr themselves for him crazy MFs. I don't understand. I really, at this point, the genuflecting, is that what it is? That these motherfuckers do, these right-wingers do for Trump? I just can't, like, for me, I'm like, fuck you, Trump. You're an asshole. You're a piece of shit. I'm not ever going to, bend the knee for you or whatever. And the only reason that these Republicans do it is either because A, they believe his shit wholeheartedly, or they just are willing to whore themselves out just to keep their little bit of power, their position. To me, it's not worth it. To follow a person like Trump, it's just not worth it, man. Big Hook says, Americans, you have a beautiful country up there in Canada, but your taxes are too high. I guess that's what Americans say about Canada. Canadian, that's why we have a beautiful country. Do the math. Yeah, it's like your taxes are high, but you get a lot of bang for your buck. That's the key thing, right? Gina Maynard says, "Don't call me Toby, MF, he. Okay, I won't call you that." Robert Perez says, "How about a challenge? You walk down the strip in the middle of August, mid-afternoon, and get some sweat running." Oh, Robert, you MFer. It's going to be 112 all next week. You want me to run down the middle of the strip? Or walk down? Running's out of the question. I can't even run on a cold day. Or a cool day. Walk down the strip in August, mid-afternoon. Yeah, that might be a suicide mission. So, thanks, but no thanks. Like, if I was going to go down the strip right now, right today would be the good day. This is going to be our coolest day in the foreseeable future. Today, the high is only going to be 95. And then after that, it's just going to go up and up and up, and we're going to have all week about 110, 112. So if I was going to do it, right now would be the time to do it. While it's still, what's the temperature now? It's 81. We've gone up just 4 degrees since I started the show. But, yeah. Hey, there's Jolie. She's got Fancy's link, and you can subscribe to Fancy. Let's get Fancy to 50. Hey, that's a good alliteration. Let's get Fancy to 50, and then Fancy can go live, and we can all go over and watch Fancy's live streams. Kimchi says, Fancy can't find you. Well, I think if you hit that link, that'll take you to it, Kimchi. Fancy says, John, I'd like to see that big sphere thing. Okay. I know I've made videos on that. I'm trying to think if I ever went live over there. I probably haven't gone live over there, huh? I do have videos though, if you guys want to peruse through my videos. I think I've got some videos of the sphere. But yeah, I should do another one for sure. I would like to do an inside. Yeah, I have to get a ticket. You can't just walk inside, and the tickets are kind of expensive. But I should do I need to do that. Fancy, for sure. Paul Mannion says, they are showing Trump's speeches on loop. It can't be helping. I mean, he's completely unhinged. He's the world's worst stand-up comedian. I know, the motherfucker thinks he's a stand-up comedian, and he is fucking awful. But he thinks he's funny because this is how he talks to his sycophants. And they all laugh because they're sycophants. That's what sycophants do. So he thinks that he's funny. And then he tries to do this on his fucking rally speeches or whatever. And he's just horrible and stupid and ridiculous. Hey, Real Bill P subscribed to Fancy. So Fancy's up to 8 now, I believe. Kimchi says, why can't we click on names to subscribe? I can only do that when modding lately. I think you can only do that when you're modding. Although I don't think it's ever been where you could just do it. I don't think. Unless you were the mod, or if you were like, for me, I'm the owner of this channel. I think I can do that. But there's the link there, Kimchi, that Jolie posted. So you can hit that link. Big gave you my sub, not a BDSM thing. Yeah. Kimchi, not BDSM? Boring. Well, you never know. Fancy might have a little BDSM going. I don't know. I don't know. Fancy will have to let us know about that, I guess. Oh, you know what? Remember I told you on the last show about there's a person who sings outside sometimes, and very poorly, I might add. It's my neighbor Joy. Joy lives right next door. I didn't know she was the singer, but the other day I heard the singing right outside my door. So I looked out my window and it was Joy. She's horrible. But, you know, what are you going to do? It's good for the soul, I guess, to sing. But she's horrible. Anyhow, she's not as good a singer as me. Suzanne hates hurricanes, and we're in hurricane season. So this is a stressful time for Suzanne and for everyone. I would not want to live in Hurricane Alley or whatever. That's Tornado Alley. I wouldn't want to live in Tornado Alley either. I would not want to live in those areas. Gino Maynard says, sycophant sounds like an elephant with low self-esteem. That's probably what they are. You know, because elephants, yeah, I get it. That works. James Williams says, Trump thinks he is funny because everyone tells him he is a joke. Oh, yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Boom, boom. Kimchi, sycophants or psychopants? Suzanne says, what is BDSM? Kimchi's right on it. Kimchi's right there without hesitation. Bondage and sadomasochism. Sadomasochism. Took the words right out of my mouth, Kimchi. James Jaramillo says that James Williams, maybe he should use that line. Yeah, but he's too dumb to know what it even means. Talking about Trump. Gina Maynard, big dork singing Medoles? No. I had a Medoli once. Suzanne says, thank you, Kimchi. Kimchi, everyone's saying hi to back and forth here. Bonnie Thompson's here. Good to see old Bonnie Thompson. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us in the chat. We're just shooting the shit here on this beautiful Tuesday. Wherever you are, I hope it's nice and not too hot, not too cold, but just right. A real kind of Goldilocks. I hope you're having a Goldilocks day where everything's just right. Not the part where the bears come home and you have to run for your life. I don't want that part. I didn't mean that part. I just meant the just right part. Mr. Spock says, just buy Calvin Klein beach fragrance. Ooh, it'll make you feel like you're at the beach. Right, hey. Talking about where it's too expensive, right? I think that's the reference Mr. Spock is making. We were talking about living at the beach and how expensive it is. Just get some Calvin Klein beach fragrance. That's all you need. You don't need to actually live there. You can just spray that shit on and just go, oh yeah, I feel like I'm at the beach right now, man. I got my toes in the sand. I got a drink in my hand. Barney Thompson says, Michigan is in the middle of a heat wave. It's 90 here. I wish it was just 90 here. Roxanne says, Bonnie Thompson, good afternoon. James Jaramillo, 79 degrees. And Fancy like Kramer. Kramer? What's Kramer doing? Paul Mannion says, she's not hunting anyone. She's not hurting anyone. Let us sing. Trump's a big fan. BDSM, he does it to himself. I mean, would you? Paul Mannion, I did say that it's good for the soul, or it's good to sing. I know, let her sing. And she only does it for a few minutes. I just thought it was strange. And I didn't think it was Joy, but I was just surprised to see that it was my neighbor Joy. I thought it was someone who lived across the courtyard here. And someone's talking now. I think it's Joy. She's very loud. She's out there talking to somebody. Very, very loud person for being such a little old lady. Who's probably the same age as me, but I'm like, she's just a little old lady. I'm a horrible person, guys. I'm horrible. Why do you guys even hang out with me? I'm a horrible, horrible person. Gina Maynard, beach whistle, half of a washed up Kotex. Sorry. Yeah, you should be sorry for that. Because I'm sorry I read it, Gino. The Real Bill P says, well, it's been fun, but a man's got to eat. A luxurious seafood salad is waiting for me. It is calling my name. Be safe, take care, and try your best to be nice. I will, Real Bill P. Go enjoy that wonderful sounding lunch. I don't know why you can't eat your lunch and still have the show on, but that's probably none of my business. But have a good lunch, and we'll see you on the next one on Thursday. I'll be here. I'll be back. Paul Mannion, I still wear a handkerchief on my head. A handkerchief. Why do you wear a handkerchief on your head? James Williams, rumor is Trump is asking which prison they might send him. He should be checking that out because he's going to go eventually. He's going to go to a prison. So he should be asking. Mr. Spock says, BDSM is an old Gwendolyn in the land of Yik Yak comic strip, laughing out loud. Man, I don't know anything about that. Paul Mannion is putting me off my dinner. It's putting me off my dinner. It's putting me off my dinner. Well, go have your dinner, man. Misha says, Janelle Walker Fancy needs 50 subscribers to go live. And I think she's gotten a couple today. I think she's up to 9, maybe. I don't know. Hit that link. That link is up there in the chat that Jolie has posted a couple times. 3 times, I think, now to be exact. Hit that link. You can get a good quick sub in there. And when I subbed earlier, I think I was the 7th, maybe. Was I the 7th? Something around there. So let's see if we can get Fancy up to 50. Fancy to 50. Kimchi says, hanky on head is a do-rag. A do-rag, a do-rag. I got me a nice little do-rag. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Hey, Fancy's up to 16. You guys are awesome. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. We got 28 watching. Fancy should be up to 28 at least. Hey, Janelle Walker is here. I haven't seen Janelle today yet. I went on there before and said hi. Well, thanks for being here, Janelle. Always good to see Janelle in the chat. Paul Mannion, if you haven't got a hat, well, there you go. Put that hanky on your head. Mish says KK. I'm glad there's not a third K there. I'd be worried. Janelle, she needs 50. She needs 50 to go live, to do a live stream. So go on there, up in the chat. There's a link to Fancy's channel and you can give her a subscription. You can sub real quick. Let's see here. Fancy says, yeah, Janelle, they won't let you live stream unless you have 50 subscribers. Bonnie Thompson, okay, I subbed. I hope there's cake. Big Hook, I think he has an exit plan for Saudi Arabia. He probably already sold the secrets, but as soon as he sees the loss coming, he will run. And I wonder if, there's any way to stop him. I mean, we have the FBI, we have surveillance. I'm sure that he could be watched like a hawk. So when is he going to do this? He's going to have to be in his plane, fueled up. They're going to have to violate the law because don't they have to enter flight plans? So let's say he's in his plane. He says, "I'm going to go to Ohio for a campaign stop or something," and then all of a sudden the plane diverts, their route, and all of a sudden heads over to Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's not like they're going to shoot him down. I guess they would just be like, "Well, there he goes." They're not going to shoot him down. I don't think there's any way of stopping them, right? Unless you shoot him down. They're not going to do that. So I guess he could but he would be breaking the law for sure. He would be he would never be able to come back. So he better have all his ducks in a row, and whenever he makes that move, because once he does it, that's it. He's never coming back to America. And he better have it all set up with the Saudis that they'll take him and have a place for him or whatever, Janelle says, "Hi, Trucker John." Hi, Janelle. Good to see you. Paul Mannion. No, the thought of BDSM and Trump is getting me off my dinner. Oh, okay, I got you. It's a bit nauseous inducing. We're inducing a bit of nausea. I get it. I totally understand. James Williams, not sure, James, but I saw a few stories early this morning that suggested that was happening. Oh, see, I skipped down. I don't know what's happening. Big Hook says Saudi plane waiting on tarmac, and he will just say he needs to talk for a few minutes. Oh, like he'll get on a Saudi plane. He won't just use his own plane? Doesn't he have his own plane, I think, right? Bonnie Thompson says Trump has a few donors with private jets. I thought he had his own plane. But whatever. Paul Manning says Tennessee Brando has a slightly more refined way of wearing a hanky. He wears the hanky in a very refined way. Almost like someone from Tennessee would wear one. Gina Maynard says Donnie can crash on Putin's futon. See, I don't think he wants to go to Russia. As much as he loves Vladimir Putin, or at least kisses his ass, I don't think he wants to go there. I think but he's dumb, so maybe, but I think he's not so dumb that he doesn't know about all the people falling out of windows over there. And if Putin can blow up fucking Wagner's plane, then he can do that to anybody. I think he feels a little safer in Saudi Arabia. And he probably likes the big shiny buildings over there, so. I don't know, but who knows? Those are probably the only two places he can go. It's probably Russia or Saudi Arabia. Vicky Jingris says, "Hey TJ, are you going to have any merch? Maybe tough cookies?" Well, I do have a hat. Sometimes it shows up. Are you guys seeing it? I don't know. I don't see it, but I do have a hat that says TJL. There's a baseball hat. I'm trying to make merch, and I think I need to get a computer. I need to break down by a computer. I'm trying to do this stuff on my iPhone, and it's just really hard. And I'm trying to get more merch, but it just isn't showing up. I'm figuring out how to get a merch. I think they call it a merch table that should be showing up somewhere like at the bottom of this page or something. But I don't see it on my feed. But sometimes on my videos, you'll see a little hat down there at the bottom, and it says TJL. And then, but I also did make a bunch of other like shirts and mugs and stuff, but they don't show up on here. So I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. Fancy says, I'd like a Trucker John t-shirt. Fancy, I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm going to get that worked out one of these days. In fact, I was just in contact with one of those pages. I think it's Spring or whatever it is. And they sent me, I haven't had time to read it. I just sent them a message saying, hey, look, I'm on an iPhone. I'm having a hard time setting this store up. Can you guys help me? And then they sent me back a big, long email that I'm assuming has hopefully a step-by-step thing of what to do. I didn't really have time to look at it yet. But yeah, Fancy, I'll get those t-shirts out. Let's see. James Williams says Trump should remember what happened to the last guy that disappointed Putin. Right. Like Wagner, right? So that's what I'm saying. I think he might prefer Saudi Arabia. Although, you never know about the Saudis. What MBS did to his own family members. He murdered one, and then he, as an example to the others, like, fall in line, or you're going to end up like this guy did, So, Mish says that Trump compares himself to Navalny. Oh, geez, what a pretentious, delusional asshole Donald Trump is. Gina Maynard says Trump did touch the glowing orb, though, in Saudi Arabia. So he's got that going for him. Big Hook, Putin's reign is coming to an end after the Ukraine disaster. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know if Trump is smart enough to know that or not, but that would be another reason to not go to Russia. Because I do believe that's right. I do agree that Putin's reign is going to come to an end. Big Hook, I agree. He's on his way out, one way or the other. He's gonna resign and put himself into self-exile, or he's going to get assassinated by the Russian people. I believe those are the only two outcomes I see. Or he's just going to die of whatever. They've been saying he's got, not long to live anyhow. I've been hearing that for like a couple of years now. And the guy's still there, as far as we know, unless those are doubles. But, whatever. But yeah, so your safer choice might be Saudi Arabia. If you can get a really nice tower suite on one of those man-made islands that they're making, that might be nice. I don't know. Roxanne Armfield says, it is wicked to hope for a similar outcome, Mish. Oh, what would Mish say? Oh, Trump compared himself, to Navalny. All I'm saying is, hey, look, I'm not wishing, like death on anybody. But I'm just saying, if Putin or Trump or both were to suddenly just croak and keel over and go teats up, I would not be sad, and I would not be in the least bit sad, and I would think it would be a good thing for the world. But I'm not wishing for it. I'm not praying for it. Big Hook, I saw a Trucker John hat listed. Yeah, there was a hat. That was a hat, TJL. It's a black hat with orange lettering. It says TJL. But I'm trying to get the other things on there, because there's T-shirts and mugs and stuff. But I'm still working on it. I don't really like the design. Because basically it's just this kind of logo right here, or over here, I guess it is. Yeah, over here. And I need to get a better design, I think. Paul Mannion says, one-way ticket, I hope. Could he end up like Idi Amin? Lived in luxury in the Middle East, dirty bastard. He could end up in some luxurious tower suite, like I said, in a man-made island. You know, those little man-made islands that they're making right off the coast of like Saudi Arabia or whatever. Or it doesn't have to be on one of those. It could be inland too. But, Fancy says I think Trump is going to try to escape any day now, like real soon, and that could be like, because I think we're all thinking maybe later in the fall or closer to the election or whatever. But yeah, why wait? Because he's seeing all this shit coming down. There's still more shit coming down. More, that's even more egregious and more serious than the 34 felonies he just got convicted of. You know, you've got these top secret documents cases coming down. That's going to be the big one. That's the one that he's going to see some serious prison time for. And he's already lost so many times in court now. But Fancy, you might be right. It might not be, 2 or 3 months from now or months from now. It might be like you say, it could be any day now. He might just jet out of here. I think you're right about that. James Williams says the important question is, have all the missing secrets been secreted out already, or will they be on planes as insurance? Yeah, there's so much stuff that I think there's stuff that we still don't even know that he has and where it is and where it ended up. That man, look, I have it right here. I've posted this before, but I gotta say it again. Let's see if I can find it. I gotta scrolling. Here we go. This fucking asshole right here is a fucking traitor. Donald Trump is a fucking traitor. And it's so weird. I was watching this video about, those guys that interview the maggots. And this one idiot had a shirt saying, like, to hang Joe Biden. And he kept saying he was a traitor. See, they all project. It's all projection. Trump is the fucking traitor. And if anyone should be hanged, it should be fucking Trump for being a traitor. Because we don't know where that shit... We don't know. I don't know. Our intelligence agencies, they might have a really good idea, maybe, of what got out and who got it, but I don't know who got what and how damaging it was. But we can already see, there's already been reports about, Russia got information and then they gave information to Iran, and Iran gave it to Hamas, and then that's what started the whole 10-6 thing or whatever. I mean, we've seen Trump leak things before, and then all these agents end up getting murdered that are out in the field, or they lose their cover or whatever. So, I mean, Trump has been a detriment to the United States and to national security and to worldwide security. So if anyone's a traitor, it's I gotta think this guy. There we go. This is the fucking traitor right here. Fucking Donald J. Trump. He's the fucking traitor, and yeah, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. Mad Max says document case will be big if Cannon gets removed. Otherwise, she will kill the thing. She is corrupt as fuck, man. I gotta believe there's gotta be something in the system, some way to get Cannon off of that case, to get her removed, because we can't let that go. We can't. That's just too big of a thing. That can't go unanswered for. I mean, she's not a man. He's a monster. He's a piece of shit, is what he is. Gino Maynard says Trump being rejected at a border for being a felon would be pretty sweet. Yeah, 34 countries apparently he can't get into. But I think Saudi Arabia might be one that he could get into. Mad Max says they still haven't gone back to look in the locked closet, but I suppose all this stuff has been moved from there by now. And the maggots will overlook that. The maggots just all they'll say is, "Oh, Hillary did it" or something, and the two things don't even compare. Hillary's emails, everything that was on there that had been marked classified was a very low level classification, and it all had been declassified later. You know, it was nothing like government secrets or national defense type of things or strategies of how to handle, Iran or Iraq or wherever, Russia. And there was none of that shit. It's not even close to comparing. It's incomparable. Gino, I want to see the translator notes in the Trump-Putin meetings. There are none. That's the thing. They made the translator leave, didn't they? Or the not translator, but the note taker. I think they made her leave. I think it was a woman. Or they made her. Maybe they didn't make her leave, but they made her not. They told her not to write anything down. So you would have to get just her memory of it, which would be nice to at least have that, like a statement of what she heard. If she was in the room, I might not be remembering it correctly, but Mish says now tomorrow's appetite is gone too. Thanks, TJ. I'm sorry, Mish. I guess you want me to take that picture down. Bonnie Thompson says shortly after Trump was president, he went over to the CIA headquarters and stood before the Silver Star Wall to make a blustering speech, and really just just kind of soiling the hallowed ground there in front of that memorial for those fallen officers. Bonnie Thompson's speech and his staff cheered. Paul Mannion, Trump makes Nixon look like a kid. America will not let him get away with it again. I hope not. Roxanne Armfield says, I don't think the translator was allowed to take notes. Yeah, I don't think so either. James Jaramino, fancy. Let's also not forget what happened in Helsinki. Mish says, Mad Mac Mom-in-Law 2. MJ Daniel, hey MJ, good to see MJ here, says, isn't some of the top secret stuff DJT stole still unaccounted for? I believe so, MJ. Yeah, what is it and who has it? Who's been able to see it? That's stuff we need to find out. Mad Max says there was Trump and some Ruskies only in that secret meeting. Yeah, it was just, it was Putin. It was a translator. Putin may have had his own note taker. Trump had his own note taker. I believe the note takers were told to leave the room, or at least they were told not to take notes, which is weird. And if Donald Trump had any balls, he would have said, fuck you, my note taker is going to do her job and take notes. But of course, he has no balls because, well, I won't get graphic, but he's totally, in cahoots with Putin and will do whatever Putin tells him to do. Donald Trump is basically Putin's bitch. Hey, Donnie, if you're listening to this, you're Putin's bitch. Anyhow, James Williams says Putin was a highly trained KGB agent in East Germany. He can speak English. He chooses not to. Trump only has to listen. He doesn't have to speak Russian. Yeah, just listen. Putin's just like, shut the fuck up. Just listen and do what I tell you to do. And Trump is like, yes, sir. Big Hook says Trump is the useful idiot who will do the billionaire fascist bidding. Trump isn't smart enough to pull the strings. Let's not kid ourselves. But the thing is, he thinks he's smart. That's the thing. When a dumb fuck thinks they're smart, and they got a little bit of power because they're rich, quite a dangerous combination of things there. And then they become president, and then they're trying to become president again, and they have a big MAGA following of fucking violent assholes. Quite a cocktail of danger going on here. Effing traitor. Yep, he is a fucking traitor, Donald Trump is. And they have the nerve, the unmitigated gall to wear t-shirts that say that Biden is a traitor. What has fucking Joe Biden ever done that was treacherous? I guess that would be the way of putting it. Joe Biden is no fucking traitor. You don't have to agree with all his policies. He's no fucking traitor. So fuck you, MAGA. Fuck you, maggot. Fancy says Trump came out of that meeting looking whipped completely. I think I remember that. I think his shoulders were kind of slumped, and he was kind of like looking down. Yeah, like a little, like he just got taken to the woodshed by Putin. Paul Mannion says, it wouldn't surprise me if the powers that be are having a hard look at Trump's background, boys. There's definitely a paper trail all the way to Putin. It's amazing how all this stuff leads back to Putin. And now they're doing this thing called Operation Overload. It's basically a continuation of what the Russians have been doing for quite a while, of these massive influence campaigns. And they're doing it again, and it's called Operation Overload, where they are just inundating the press and the media and social medias, everything on the internet with all of this fucking disinformation. They're doing it again. They're always going to do it. We've got to just be on our toes or whatever, and just wherever we see this disinformation, we need to fucking fact check it and shoot it down. We need to stand up against it. We need to, we need to fight it off wherever we see it. But it's a thing. It's a real thing. Operation Overload. I read that. You can read that if you go to Heather Cox Richardson. She's fucking greatest writer I've ever read, I think, about history and about the political goings-ons of what's going on. And she's the one that I read about that last night, about this Operation Overload. And that's why when you see these maggots, they live in that bubble of that disinformation bubble. That's why they don't even know that we're having a great turnaround in our economy, because they don't ever even see it, because all they see is the disinformation that's being pumped into them from Russia. Barney Thompson says Trump looked like he was dog walked hard after the Helsinki meeting. Or Helsinki. Did I say Helsinki? Helsinki. Vicky Jingers, she's convinced he's a Manchurian candidate. Mad Max says, Big Hook agreed, bros. Some people call him Satan, and I tell them that he isn't anywhere near smart enough to be Satan. Satan's a little bitch, more like it. I guess he's a little bitch to a lot of things. Yeah, Putin and Satan. MJ Daniel, he is not the orange Jesus that they slavishly worship. Mish says that Vicky Jingers, yes, every projection is a confession. It's all they do is project. Vicky Jingers, his cover is being so stupid. Well, I don't know. I think he's genuinely stupid, though. Mish says we have to vote every one of these monsters out. Like I say, just stop voting for Republicans. And like I say, most of these people, most of you guys in the chat, I don't think do vote for Republicans, but we just need to get the message out that the Republicans are not serving our best interests. They don't have our best interests at heart. And I don't know for the life of me what the fuck how does a woman getting an abortion affect me? Why is that my fucking concern? Why is that anyone else's concern other than that woman who chooses to get an abortion? That's her business. That's her body. Why in the fuck is it the fucking Republicans, why are they so worked up about it? It's none of your goddamn business. How the fuck does it affect you? And I'm talking, to maggots and Republicans, basically. How the fuck does a same-sex couple affect you? If they get married, why the fuck is that any skin off your nose? If they live together, how the fuck is that any skin off your nose? If they are walking down the street holding hands, how the fuck does that affect you? That's none of your goddamn business. Republicans, I'm talking to you, motherfuckers. And they get all fucking worked up about these kind of issues, about things that are none of their fucking business. It's none of your business who another person sleeps with or a person loves, and it's none of their goddamn business if a person decides that they don't want to carry a pregnancy out to term for whatever reason, whether it's for health reasons, whether it's economic reasons, whatever the issue is, that's that person's fucking business, and it's none of your goddamn business. So shut the fuck up about it. Leave everyone alone and live your own life and worry about your own goddamn life. And then they have to fucking always bring up the border. The border this, the border that, the border this. Well, fuck you. Get the goddamn Republican Speaker of the House to bring the bill up, because the bill is there. And it has everything in there that you motherfuckers want, supposedly. Right there in the bill. It's a fucking Republican wish list of things to do for the fucking border. And you motherfuckers won't bring it up to vote. All because you're goddamn traitor here. Not there, but there. Quashed the thing and said, don't bring it up. So fuck you and you're goddamn crying over the border. The border thing is right there waiting to be signed. And you won't do it because you want to play politics. Well, fuck you. You fucking maggots. The thing's there. So stop crying about it. You goddamn idiots. I'm sick and tired of you fucking idiot maggots. There, I said it. Fancy says, once he loses the election, all his friends will abandon him. And it cannot come too soon. That day cannot come too soon. Paul Mannion says, all they preach about is hatred and xenophobia. You've got to keep your heads, or we're going to all lose them. Fancy says, they are getting scared, Roxanne. They are backed into a corner. Jana Maynard, useful idiots. We have a few on our side like Kucinich is out. He's a no name now. Vintage Gingers, Paul. No, it isn't, but they sure have ignorance down. Roxanne says, James Armino, they are afraid of affecting their bottom line. To hell with their constitutional mandate. Mad Mac, they are already denying the upcoming election, just like in 2016 and 2020. When he loses again, they are planning violence the likes no one has ever seen. And Jen said, I don't know what's going to happen. But I do think that since we have Biden in the White House, we're going to be ready for it. Unlike last January, or the January 6th, 2021, when Trump was still he was still the president, so he was basically telling everybody to stand down and was denying requests, for added security or whatever. So I think this time we're not going to have that. We're going to be, geared up, ready to go. Dan Ditso's here. I haven't seen Dan Ditso, I don't believe. So thanks for joining in, jumping in here. Welcome to the chat. Dan Ditso says in the first 5 months there have been 4 major meetings between Central America, Caribbean, and United States. Okay. I'm not sure what you're trying to get at, but okay, whatever. Maybe you could tell us a little more about that. Mad Mac, we're with you regarding maggots, TJ. Thank you very much. Good to have your support on that. Gina Mater says they try to speak for God and blame LGBT and abortions for hurricanes, earthquakes, etc., like a mullah. Dan Digital says we have been working to fix the issues of migration, and the United States doesn't want to understand that one of the major problems is the impacts of the war on drugs in our region. Yeah, you can trace a lot of that back to Reagan and the cartels taking over and creating really unsafe places for people to live and wanting to get the fuck out of there. And you can trace that back to Ronnie Reagan. Buddy Tom says, I deal with maggots every day on a game chat, tired of staying quiet, so I go at them with facts. Good for you, Buddy Thompson. Good for you. Dan Digital, sorry regarding the migration issue. Hey, look, migration, it's an issue, and we can deal with it, and we can deal with it rationally, and that's what the border bill is about, was getting more of a system in place to handle the asylum claims, more quickly and efficiently. All that would help to mitigate the problems at the border, but the Republicans don't want to fucking pass it because they don't want to make the Democrat. It's all political. It's all political bullshit. But we can do stuff right now that will help to alleviate, like fentanyl coming in. That border bill was putting in more of these scanners and getting more agents out there to check for drugs and all that kind of stuff. But the Republicans, they want to keep the issue alive so they can cry about it and say that the border is open and border this, border that. Well, we have this really good border bill that will help alleviate a lot of that stuff. But they'd rather not have it be solved, just like I guess they kind of learned maybe with abortion, that it was better to always have abortion stay legal so they could have something to bitch about. But now that it's becoming illegal, they're like, the dog that caught the tailpipe or whatever. Paul Manning says, we have cross-party agreement on what women do with their bodies. This is it's nobody's business but the people's directly involved, so the church can keep their noses out of it. And that's what we need to do over here. James Williams says, I have seen the only way to end the drug problem is take the money out of it, period. Yeah, that's, I think a great many of these drugs can be legalized. A lot of them can be decriminalized. I mean, I don't think we can just blanketly legalize everything, but we can decriminalize a lot of this stuff, and we can legalize, pot and stuff like that. And instead of making, everyone go to prison, we could have more drug rehabs and drug education and all that kind of stuff. Instead of having people go to prison and ruin their lives that way, if they have a drug problem, it's getting them in prison. They need help, and prison doesn't necessarily help. Dan Ditso says, last 5 months there has been high-level meetings between the United States, Central America, 6 out of 7 nations, and several nations of Caribbean. We have been sitting with the Biden administration, but it's hard. Well, I believe, Dan Ditso, it's going to get solved. Probably not till after November. But I hate to say I'm confident, because I was really confident in 2016 that Hillary was going to win. But I'm more confident now because Joe Biden has already beat Trump once, and by a really convincing margin. So I'm fairly confident Joe's going to win again. And I think we're going to get the House back, and I hope we keep the Senate. I'm pretty sure, I think we can keep the Senate. So we might not see any real changes until January, actually, right? And next year, when the new Congress is sworn in, and then Biden is re-sworn in or whatever, and then unfortunately, it's going to take that long because these goddamn Republicans, thanks to Trump, are going to quash any type of legislation that we could get through concerning the border and immigration and things. But I think it's going to, eventually, we're going to be there. But it's not going to be till next January or February or whatever. But probably on day one, when the new Congress is in there, I don't see why Joe would even have to wait till his inauguration, or I guess you call it re-inauguration or whatever. As soon as the new Congress is sworn in, if we have the numbers, then I don't see why on day one they don't just pass the border bill right then. Boom. First order of business, boom. Hakeem Jeffries brings it up. They vote on it. They pass it. Senate passes it. Take it to Joe Biden on his desk. He signs it. It's just going to take another 8 months or whatever the fuck it is. Let's see here. Dan Ditzel James says, yeah, Peter North, the drug war is at it today. You like my music? You don't like my music? Says, we shouldn't be locking up people for making poor health choices. I agree. I agree. I think that there should be, like I say, much more like drug rehabs and things like that. Fancy says California needs more affordable housing. It would solve a lot of problems. Absolutely. And I thought Gavin Newsom was working on that. I thought that was one of his things. I don't know how that's going. Kimchi says, speaking of drugs, puff, puff, pass. Also, TJ, is it time for another smoke sesh? Well, if there's a dispensary that will give me some more free shit, I'm not going to go buy it. But if there's a dispensary that has another Driver Appreciation Day that gives me a nice little goodie bag, then absolutely. Mish says, I need to go for a therapy session after this. Therapy equal long, peaceful drive. Yeah, I like driving. Driving can be nice. You can get a nice piece of road. That could work. Dan Ditso says, TBH, no, it won't be solved. Either Democrat or Republican in the United States. Foreign policy has always behaved condescending to us, Latin America. I don't know. I think things could be. I wouldn't be so negative on that, Dan. I wouldn't be quite so negative. I think Joe Biden is a great president, and I think we can get things turned to some good, positive policy. Don't be too sure on that. Keep your hope up, Dan. Don't. And then when we come back to next January or February, let's see what happens. Roxanne says, we have to have honest brokers on both sides of the aisle in Congress. A tall order, I admit, but we have to start towards that goal. Mish says, Mac, absolutely, his not picking a running mate is very telling. Yeah, all this time, he still doesn't have a running mate, does he? Denditsu says, to be honest, yes, with Trump is worse. If Biden gets second term, our expectations ain't high, but at least there might be a small chance to push for change. With Trump, there is no chance. That's absolutely true. With Trump, there is no chance. You have a much better odds of something good and positive being done under Biden and under the Democrats. That's what I always say. What are the things that you hold dear? Whether it's health issues, women's health in general, whether it's like Medicare for all type of thing, whether it's the environment, whether it's wages and jobs, all those things that we hold dear and that we care about. If you really want to have good, positive policies put in place on those issues, you're much better off with Democrats being in power than you are with the Republicans. Because the Republicans, as I've stated earlier all through the show, all they do is work for the top 1%. All they do, everything is about appeasing the billionaires and the billion-dollar companies. That is it. So, for the other 99.9% of us, if you're voting for a Republican, then you're fucking shooting yourself in the foot. That's all I got to say about that. I guess Paul is checking out. You just remind me I'll pop out and get some gigs and milk. I love you and leave you. Well, thank you so much, Paul, for being here. I appreciate you coming out here and checking it out. See you next Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. That'll be about 5 o'clock your time, I guess. But yeah, make sure you come on back, and we'll see you then. Thanks for being here. Roxanne says we also need to address a way to hold the Supreme Court to the same rules and justice. Yes, absolutely. That's a big issue. And we're seeing all this come up because of all this obstruction by goddamn Moscow Mitch. He was able to get 3 goddamn Supreme Court picks under Trump. And that sucks. It really sucks. And they're not accountable. They are taking bribes. They're taking all these lavish things, millions of dollars worth of things that we're just finding out about Alito and Thomas. What about Gorsuch and Roberts and Kavanaugh? How did over $500,000 of debt magically disappear for Kavanaugh all of a sudden? We need to find out about that too. They do need to be held accountable, and I believe they need to be removed. I think it's past the point of just having a code of ethics. They've violated the fuck out of any ethics. So for sure, Alito and Thomas need to be gone, and I think Kavanaugh needs to be gone. He needs to explain how all of a sudden he paid $500,000 worth of debt like that. You know. So for sure. Dan Ditchu says, Trucker John, it ain't negative, my friend. It's 20 plus years of experience working issues of human rights and protection of democracy in my region, and either D or R has showed their exceptionalism. You got to remember, in the last 20 years, the Ds have been facing massive obstructionism by the Rs. Once we can get past that, if we can get around that obstructionism and figure out a way to do that by eliminating things like the filibuster in the Senate and making sure we have majorities in the House, I think you will see much better progress. It always comes down to the Republicans obstructing. It's always, if they're not in power, then they find ways to obstruct. When they are in power, then all they do is, like I say, they just do things for the billionaires. Oh yeah, Big Hook says no offense. Hey, well, I'm about ready to end. Thanks for the reminder, Big Hook. Randy Road coming on. It's 12:04. She's gonna be coming on in 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. So thanks for being here. I'll probably end the show. We did 2.5 hours. For me coming on 45 minutes late, and we still did 2:45. So I should probably end it anyhow. I got stuff I got to do. So you guys, thanks for being here, man. We had people watching, and we got 61 thumbs up. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the show. You guys have been sharing the show. Let's help get the show out here and grow and get bigger and stronger. And thanks, Dan Ditso from South America. I just want to say a special thanks for you. I appreciate your opinion. Thanks, everybody, all you guys, man, in the chat. Great chat. This is the greatest chat room in the internet, as far as I'm concerned. Greatest chat room on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and end it. And I'll see you back. Not today, Fancy. I will be back Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then Thursday, I usually do that early show, but maybe I'll do a 2 o'clock p.m. on Thursday, since I think Hal comes on at 3, since his kid's home and everything. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for putting up with me being late today. I think we still had a good, interesting show. because of you guys. It always comes to you guys. You guys sort of steer the direction of where the show goes with your chats and everything. And you guys are great chatters. But yeah, Fancy, subscribe to Fancy. Let's get Fancy to 50 so she can do live streams. I would love to see Fancy on the live stream. And I keep saying she. I don't know why I'm saying she. I don't know. I should say they. I don't know the gender. But let's get Fancy to 50 and see them do live streams, and we'll find out, I guess. And I guess that's it. Again, I just want to say you guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you on Thursday. I'm going to start doing some more other things. Maybe not till next week or in a couple weeks. I'll try to do. I was thinking about doing maybe Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday like a members only live stream, and that might be a different time altogether to try not to interfere with like Randy Rhodes and Hal Sparks and stuff like that. Try to find some window that I can jump in and do like a members only. And I'd like to have a members only jacket. I should get me one. Anyhow, guys, whoops. Thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you again. I'll see you in the chat rooms around that we hang out in, you know, like at Hal Sparks or Randy Rhodes or wherever. I'll see you guys and say hi. And I'll see you right here on the Trucker John channel, Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And I will make sure to be up. I'm not going to be late again. I promise. Now I got to go stretch my hammy. All right? I'm going to stretch a hammy. And then, because I don't want to pull it.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. Show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So I style of Easter, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully. Nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about gold chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby, the show is over, but could I ask, baby, to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should've stopped a truck driving. Who am I trying to kid? At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no